Well, some of you might remember I was in process of repairing the gas lamp for my Humber restoration. Well, here it is, pretty much finished really. There's a few scratches here and there that I want to treat. The rim was completely smashed up and really flattened in here. It had holes punched in it and it was completely squashed here. The glass was missing. So Andrea said, get yourself a clock glass, which I did, and it fits beautifully. But also on eBay you can get magnifying mirrors for £7. It's very thin glass, 2mm, and I stuck that into the back of there on the springs using silicone glue, but I need some brackets for it. And this is where I need them for. I don't know if you can see here in this light. It's very poor light, I'm afraid, but there we are. You can just make out the bracket there, and you can't really see much under there at all, but basically a clamp that fits onto here with a 3/8 diameter bar which curls up in a letter U shape, or some of them are like a Z shape that raise the headlamp a bit and you put the headlamp on them. So the first stage in making them, of course, is to get out some rudimentary measuring equipment and measure the diameter of this and the external measurement of the clamp itself. That's the first stage. The next stage, of course, is to go into your 3D drawing program if you want to machine them, or even a 2D drawing program if you're following just normal drawings to make a part manually. But they're easy to make, but tedious, I would say. The CNC mill is much less tedious and produces pretty consistent results, I would say. But anyway, the first stage, as I said, is to draw them out, either 2D or 3D, depending on what you're using. And then after that, the next stage is to produce the G-code and then onto the machine. So we'll go through the 3 steps rather quickly. Well, once I have taken a few measurements on the bike, first thing I'd do would be to come indoors and fire up the computer and draw a half clamp, as you can see. Drawing on this program is pretty easy. I draw the outline and then I can extrude, so I would click on it and draw out that surface. I can show you very quickly what I mean. Here we go. Create a sketch. Do a sketch on this surface. Here we go. Let's see. 3 inches long by 3. There we go. That one. Get rid of the dimensions. Let's see. I want to put a line across the centre. If I want to measure it, I go a 1, let's say a 2-inch diameter. Put that there, and another 2-inch diameter there. And if I got rid of these, I'm left with this, and if I want to turn that into a solid, for instance, I go into the solid up here and create extrude, and there we go, click OK, and there you've got one of them with holes in. You can also do things, nice things like fillet, modify fillet the corner, and let's make that 0.25. And there you see that there. And then modify fillet again. And then do this one and say 0.25. And hit enter. And then you see you've got a nice round smooth shape. So that's how easy it is. Once I've done my design, let's go back to the lamp bracket. Once I've got my design, I then go into the manufacture side of things, and this is where your interest will probably die on you, because it's quite, I wouldn't say complicated, but it's not particularly easy. If I go into setups, there should be more setups than that. Well, this is the, I was originally going to do it a different way, and I've obviously rubbed out part of the program. But the other setup showed all of this being machined away, and unfortunately somehow I've managed to scrub it. But again, it's too, if you're not doing this sort of stuff, it is a bit of a pain. It's difficult to understand. Well, I wouldn't say difficult, but you've got to want to be able to do it, otherwise you'll find it extremely difficult. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get on with making them. Well, today I am making headlamp brackets for gas lights of a type that were fitted to Humber motorcycles. This side of the clamp fits onto the front fork, and the headlamp stay fits into this, and two pieces make one clamp. So I'm just doing the outside profile first, then I'll take them down to thickness, and then clamp them together using soft jaws in the vise and bore the holes out. So that's the process. Now, after machining all of these halves, I've got to cut them off from the bar so I can flatten them down to the correct thickness. Now, you don't actually think I use a hacksaw for that. For all I do occasionally use a hacksaw. For a job like this, I use this thing. Here we go. And there we go, that's that one off. The next phase is to set them up in the vise here so that they're running parallel to the table. And if I move this in the y-axis, you will see there's very little movement on there. That indicator is about 1/4 of a thou each one of those, so that's pretty flat. So after that I put the cutter in and start thinning it down. And there we see putting them down to thickness. It's a slow put. Well, it could be a lot faster if I used a bigger cutter, but I'm much happier with small cutters in this machine, or smaller. It seems to handle them better. Back in the workshop with the lamp brackets, which are just being machined down to thickness now. I've already done one pair, well more than one pair, but there you can see half a bracket, and I've got another pair which are joined together, which I'll show you. And this is the other pair joined together. Next step in the machine will be to clamp the clamp between the two V's on the V blocks in the vise, and then machine the through holes for the lamp bracket and the hole for the forks. The next part of the job, having machined all of the halves down to the correct thickness, is to make some packing shims, 12 of them. 2 for each pair. That gives me 2mm spacing, which takes them out to the correct sort of diameter when they're split. I've centre marked one, and I'll drill through the whole lot, and then they're all ready. And then next job will be to machine the holes. Okay, the first thing I've got to do is mount these in the vise, and then I centre drill these 2 holes. Slight mistake there, but nothing much, that'll soon come out. Slight mistake there, that'll be machined out. I'm going to put a through hole there, mainly just so that the cuttings from the milling cutter drop out through the bottom and don't get reground by the cutter, because it's bad practice. So let's just, I'll drill these manually, these holes, using the manual controls on the mill, so I'll not bore you with that, and we'll come back when we've got the milling cutter in. Well, that's everything set up, ready to run. Let's hold the slider button here, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll cut nicely. This is taking it down in 0.5mm steps, I believe. And that's the first hole done on it now there. Okay, that's the first hole done, as you can see. Quite a neat job. It's now just slowly machining the second hole. That's the beauty of the CNC mill. You don't need a drill to drill it. You don't need a massive selection of drills. because the milling cutter will open the hole to whatever size we want it to, no matter how small or how big the cutter is. And there we have a finished clamp. Well, I say finished, it's still got to be dressed off, but basically the machine mark's taken out of it. But that's it, it's done. I'll compare it to, I'll check it against the forks later, but it should be okay. I've allowed a little bit for the paint on the forks, so it should fit. So there we have the first pair finished. It takes a while, but it's worth doing. They've turned out quite nice. Obviously they've got to be rounded here. The packing pieces come out so that they have enough room to clamp and so on, but they should fit and they should be fine. We'll see them when they're painted and we have a headlamp attached to them. Well, there you go, that's 5 minutes work with the Dremel a piece, and they come out really good. I say the Dremel, but actually I don't use a Dremel anymore. The original Dremels were really good, reliable. New ones, crap. You might as well just go and buy something from China, because that's where they're probably made. And if you're going to do that, you might as well get something like this. If I can focus on the... There you go. It's quite powerful. And it comes with a flexible drive here, as well as a proper chuck, not one of those friggin' collared chucks that you get with a Dremel, which means you can put almost anything in there. Okay, this has a collet chuck, but I've got that many old bits from Dremels that I'll never run out for the rest of my life. It's just so cheap. It's I think it was only about 25-30 quid, and I think it does up to about 60,000 RPM, some crazy speed, and it's really good. Much better than a Dremel, far more useful. Well, there you can see the brackets. Just tested them out for fit on the forks, and they look pretty good. You can see there a pair of them. So the next thing will be to make the steers and test out the fit of the headlamp. Well, there you go, folks. That's the headlight fitted. Obviously not painted yet, any of the brackets, but there you see the brackets in place with the steers, etc. And the currently restored lamp. So I'm quite pleased with that. Looks the part.